Hey Cass, good morning. Welcome back to Dance Works Dance Center. This is the first instructional video for Supercalifragilistic. These first videos for this song are going to cover a pretty large chunk of the material because this opening section to the song is really not too complex or challenging, so I think we can cover a pretty good amount of material with just these first couple of instructional videos. So we start the song, guys. Listen, kind of in a group around Mary, listening to what she is saying. You're in all different kinds of levels, all different kinds of positions, just simply standing and listening to what she is saying. You're hanging on her every word. And measure lucky number 13. Some of you reposition. That may simply mean that you change your body position. If you're here listening to her, perhaps you drop down to here, or if you're here to start, maybe you stand up and lean back. Some of you may jump in front of another cast member or change to the other side of the stage. If that doesn't sound familiar to you, you're probably not one that does that. So just check your script, see if you've marked or circled at measure 13 that you need to do something, and make sure that that happens. At the end of that, at the end of this first kind of introduction, Mary takes a couple steps out of the group. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. So it's not too far. She just kind of separates herself a little bit from the group on that line. Cass, you stay behind her. She's going to open her arm. Her right arm at measure 21 is going to do a slow port de bras open this way for 8 counts. Cass, you just follow her fingers. However you have landed, make sure you just stay like this, and you're going to follow her hand for 13 counts. Heads only. Only Mary does the arm. So she opens, you follow. Supercalifragilistic expialidocious. Uneven. She's going to pop up her finger, and you're going to pop up your body straight away, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. So your faces are completely on her the entire time. This is all head movement for 8, and then a quick body snap up, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. Mary's going to step back into the group. If you say it loud enough, just do a big gesture on loud. You'll always sound precocious. Cass, here comes your bounce section. 2 slow, 4 quick. Your first 2 have only 2 counts each. Supercalifragilistic, and then we bounce forward to straighten all the way back up. Expialidocious. So you kind of lean back as that happens. So 2 slow, 4 quick. She sings it, not you. Supercalifragilistic, bounce and bounce and bounce, bounce. Okay? You are up to measure 37, your first umdiddles. At these umdiddles, we make 3 groups. Group 1 is stage right with Mary and Jane. Group 2 is stage left with Bert and Michael, and Mrs. Corey's group is center. So you just kind of travel, stepping on the beat to these 3 groups. Mary and Jane have a little bit of dialogue as that traveling happens. Group 1, you have 8 counts of your caveman as that's happening. Groups 2 and 3, you are in your groups, in your spots, but you're just kind of bouncing in place, listening to them. Okay, so you don't really have too much to do there except just kind of keep the energy going. Group 1 goes for 8 about the caveman, so however you want to do that, okay, you freeze in your caveman pose after count 8. Group 2, you are going to lunge with Bert for 5 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You freeze like this. Group 3, you continue to bounce as Group 2 does their thing. Now we're up to Mrs. Corey's group, who sings about the Egyptian pharaohs. So we're going to open the hands, 1 and 2 and. We let the neck do its isolation to the right on 3, 4. Bring it back to the center, 5 and 6 and 7, and then we do our hand slap after the word GIF, okay? The hands then come up over the head, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then hieroglyph, we go hit and hit and hit. So it's 3 of those. So your counts, group 3, go 1 and 2 and head and center, hold and hands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and head, head, head. Now we do a little group switch, okay? So we're going to travel for you are either traveling forward if you are group 3 and traveling back groups 1 and 2. So just make sure that you know which group you are in and which direction you step first. Everybody steps the right foot. We go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now switch your direction for the last 4 counts. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. We then step with our feet open. Group 3, you stay forward and you pop the knees. 2, 3, 4. Or group 1, you step over, make sure your head stays to the crowd, and we pop, 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 pop. Group 2, you step open this way, or over rather with the left, and go pop, 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 pop. So it's 4 little knee pops, nice and sharp. All 3 groups do that at the same time. We then cup our hands. We go into our little opera pose, okay? So the 3 soloists come here into the middle. Cast, again, we make another little group behind them. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, freeze. They do their whatever it is, that little aria. We then spread out to the circle. Kids ensemble, come out. You guys sit at the edge of the stage. Supercalifragilistic, expialidocious. So that spreads us out to our circle. Kids come forward. Soloists go into the middle of the circle. Here's our last little section. We're going to do-si-do. So you face your partner. You do-si-do in one direction for 8. 1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and a 6, and a 7, and an 8. On your next diddle, switch direction. Diddle-diddle-diddle-diddle-lie. You end facing your partner, ready to go into the next section. Let's try it.